when you've come to a realization that you no longer can manipulate or control somebody, you just let go. And then you just vomit. And it looks nasty, it smells nasty, and that's a reflection of the person that you are. Irv has flat out lied about a lot of things. And the crazy thing is, like, when we were in a good space, a positive space, like, pillow talk is a dangerous thing. You know what I'm saying? And there are so many things that, like, I know, and there's so many things that, like, and for a long time, and probably forever, like, I don't have the desire to expose certain things. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't it crazy how the last thing most of us would remember about Irv Gotti was his obsession with Ashanti? It wasn't so long ago when Storm Monroe broke the news that things aren't looking good for Irv Gotti and that he was in a deadly coma. And now his family has finally broke the news that he has passed away from a stroke. Just before Irv Gotti left us, 50 Cent made a post saying, "Dang, I wanted him to see my new shows." Some people were saying that 50 Cent was too harsh, especially now that he's passed. But Ashanti isn't having any of that. After what he did to her 20 years ago, and what he would have continued to do had he had time for it, she does not feel sorry.
My accountant, he wanted to control all my finances. He wanted me to invest in, Irvin Jeffries. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, why? It don't say my name. It says Irvin Jeffrey, motherfucker. So
you can laugh now.
Now I can laugh, But when you think about it in hindsight, it is hurtful. Because this is a person that you trusted and that you thought really had.
Ja Rule, Ashanti, and Vita, those were the names that Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. put on the map. And he sure had an ear for great music. He defined the early 2000s sound and definitely left his mark on hip hop and R&B, and also beat the feds when they came knocking. But Irv left a sour taste in everyone's mouth when we started to hear from his own mouth how he groomed Ashanti and how obsessed he was about having some type of control over her, even when she wanted nothing to do with him.
Made those records. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wrote them, but she wrote them with the help of me telling her what to write. And all of y'all, whoever knows me, I don't lie. I'm not a liar. I'm gonna spritz it up and jazz it up. Is this the camera?
Yes.
Ashanti, you cannot spritz it up. You cannot jazz it up. The minute you put some spritzy and jazz it up, it's not a cover. So when it's not a cover, now it has to come back to me to clear it.
Child, every time Irv got a chance to be in front of a camera and talk about his work and accomplishments, he always somehow managed to connect his relationship with Ashanti and how he couldn't let go of her.
I mean, I think Irv's very emotional. You know what I mean? He's a Cancer. And I feel like he didn't always put business as a priority. That's what I feel. And again, like, he just painted the perception very one-sided. And I just feel like now is when I gotta be brave enough to speak up.
When BET offered to do a Murder Inc. documentary with Irv Gotti and other members of the crew who wanted to join in, Ashanti refused to participate. And Irv said that one way or another, she was going to be a part of the documentary. And guess what? A good hour of the documentary was spent talking about Ashanti and how, according to him, she effed him over.
She used to wear these juicy sweats and her ass was looking fat. Her ass was looking great. So one day, I was like, yo, I'll take you home. She said, bet, cool. I walk her to a front door of her crib. She turns to say goodbye. And I just kiss her and grab her ass. And just, mwah.
During one of his interviews, Irv Gotti out of nowhere started to show off the wristwatch he was wearing, and he proudly announced to the group that he was still rocking the watch Ashanti gave him 20 years ago. He fondly memorized the words she inscribed there and said that she wrote, "You changed lives forever. Love, Ashanti." On one of his shows, while talking about his relationship with Ashanti, Irv said, "This is my wife, this is my family, but this bee is here to suck my you-know-what." Like, excuse me? I beg your finest pardon. There was also a time when Nelly wanted to use Ashanti's photo for one of his songs. Nelly and Ashanti weren't even a thing yet, but he still reached out to Irv to tell him about it since Ashanti was his artist. Yet Irv said no. He asked Nelly to remove the picture completely if he didn't want any trouble, and Nelly chose to go with Ciara instead.
Okay. He had called me because, you know, she's my artist. And I was like, remove her from that fucking video, dog. You understand? Right.
I got it. Did you know when?
Which could have been like salty on my part.
Now that Irv's gone, people are looking at Ashanti, expecting her to have something positive to say about him and their whole situation, and she is not down with that. She was all of 20 years old when she met him, and Irv was 10 years older, and he was married. This man was in control of her career, and she had to be around him anytime she wanted to work.
Feels like he's losing control, and he can't manipulate, and he can't dictate, and he can't tell you what to do with your finances, and he can't, control, where you go and who you're with. And, I think that gets to a man's ego. So then he turns to bashing, and he turns to intimidation, and he turns to, try to make you look bad. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? To boost his own ego. You know what I mean? And I feel like, it's really sad. It's sad to watch that. So this is very special.
I was going to say, what does it symbolize for you in terms of what does that star mean?
Gosh, it symbolizes the sacrifices, the hard work, the many record deals that I lost, a lot of the rejection and overcoming that. You think about it.
Ashanti admitted that, in fact, she and Irv did have something romantic going on back in the day, but it wasn't a full-blown relationship like he suggested it was. And when the feds came knocking over the money laundering accusations, most brands dropped Murder Inc. Ashanti was really hot back then, but when this all hit, all the brands working with her found her guilty by association and wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole. When Murder Inc. was found not guilty, it was like they were already fully tainted, and Ashanti felt like it was time for her to move on. Even Ja Rule, the biggest artist on the label, refused to work with them and cut ties with the label. Yet, Irv only had smoke for Ashanti. He called Ashanti disloyal and said she ran like a cockroach when the lawsuit came and never showed up for the trial. But she did, in fact, show up for the trial, even though contractually she was not supposed to travel outside of Canada while filming John Tucker Must Die.
I hate when he tells the story about Ashanti's not loyal and she didn't support during the trial, when clearly you see me at the trial. Clearly you see me on every single newspaper. Clearly, I was shooting John Tucker Must Die in Canada. Mm-hmm. Ironically, we're in Canada right now.
I could actually pull up video of you and I doing an interview. Where you tell that story.
We're having this same conversation basically. Yeah. And legally, my contract, I was not allowed to leave the country. Mm-hmm. I left like 3-4 times. We weren't even speaking at that time, but I left because I was supportive.
I mean, just imagine what could have happened to Ashanti if she actually turned him down from the jump. We would never even know her name today. And because of the situationship she got into with him in her early 20s, Irv didn't stop trying to ruin her life. He held up her projects and stopped her from collaborating with artists that would have furthered her career. In 2002, Fabulous revealed that Ashanti was his favorite new artist and wanted to collab with her. Irv said no at first, but the two of them were later able to put out Into You. The song rose on the charts, but Irv still said no to a music video because it wasn't a Murder Inc. produced song. Ashanti, Beyonce, and Alicia Keys were supposed to go on the First Ladies tour together, but Irv didn't allow her to do it because he saw them as competition to Ashanti. Imagine how major that would have been to see the three of them together during that time period. It would have been bananas, as Ashanti says. Ashanti did right by her career when she moved on because Irv was really trying to stop her bag. So when she left and dumped him too, he really took that personally. And when she started dating Nelly, Irv just about lost his mind.
Sounds like you didn't get past that. I'm just being honest.
Listen. At the time it happens, any man,
of course,
is hurt.
Yeah, right.
The chick you fucking are in love with is with this nigga.
Country grandma.
You wanna hear how I found out?
How you found this?
Country grandma.
Only on Drink Chat. It's on the documentary too. So
Yeah. How did you find out, sir?
I was at home.
And there wasn't no Twitter or Instagram back then.
I was at home. Listen to this shit. This is God wanted me to find out. I was at home. NBA package. I like watching sports.
Wait, what? Oh, the Worldwide Sports. Okay.
Nigga D Rose is playing.
D Rose.
Tune into the Chicago game. At home in Tribeca for Dolo. Oh my God, what's this commotion going on in the stadium? We just found out what the commotion is. Nelly has walked in with Ashanti.
Oh my God.
Wait, we're talking about. But you didn't know?
Me and Nelly were dating. Irv was salty. Irv would not let me come to the studio to record. Irv was telling everyone not to record with me. Why do I want to stay in that situation? How can I stay in that situation? You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, nah. You want to be with Nelly? Go sign a Dirty A&T. We don't want you.
Gotti remixed her songs, but wouldn't release the originals, and according to Ashanti, he continued to hold on to some of her best work. On the 20th anniversary of her first album, Ashanti announced that she was going to re-record her album and spice it up a bit to make it sound a little different from the first. She had already spent $150,000 of her own money to record the album, but Irv threatened to sue if she re-released her own work and said that he was never going to give her back her masters, even if she was willing to pay for it. Instead, he sold Ashanti's masters to a French guy, so all the work and money she put in essentially went down the drain.
Back from this guy named Olivier Chastain.
He sounds dangerous.
He's a billionaire Frenchman.
Okay.
And he's my guy, and I'm entering a deal with him for a lot of money.
We're supposed to make some noise for that. I believe.
He also told people not to work with her and used the connections that he had in the industry to block any meaningful opportunities she had going on.
There was some manipulation, you know. There were, oh, man. I mean, I don't even know if I should say this. You know, there were threats. There were threats. You know, me dealing with Nelly, you know, there was death threats, you know.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know how serious they were because, you know, again, you try to personify this person that you're really not. But when
Towards
you're saying, not towards me, towards who I was dealing with, you know, you keep doing that, you know.
Yeah.
So manipulation definitely played a part. Power, flexing, throwing your weight around. You know what I mean?
Now, it's one thing to love someone, but what Irv had going on here was a toxic obsession. If Ashanti didn't stand 10 toes down and was strong enough to keep going, he would have run her down just because she wasn't interested in a married man any longer. And the streets have not forgotten how dirty Irv Gotti did Ashanti. All these people screaming, oh wow, Irv Gotti is dead. You forgot he groomed Ashanti and then talked ish about her in life. Man, miss me with that ish. After what Irv Gotti did to Ashanti back in the day, he deserves it and worse. Now, I don't know about y'all, but right now I'm hoping Ashanti gets to release that album and maybe even get her masters back now that the main person standing in the way as an obstacle is no longer here. But what do y'all think about this? Make sure you sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, baddies.